Greetings. Today, whoa, sorry, that was technical stuff. Hi, welcome. Today we continue about the other class, Monday, focusing on Garudas this time. Pay attention inside. Focus on being happy and simple. I wish to inform you that Shivagam published a book in Spanish. It's called Un Pequeño Gran Paso, and it is now available on Amazon. So for the Spanish people, and we'll have it in English eventually. Good. Focus on your lungs and your diaphragm. Breathe and focus on your lungs. Bring your consciousness in your lungs. Okay, so Monday we spoke of nagas with the elements. Now we're going to speak about the Garudas. So the nagas are the principles that flow in the manifest world. The Garudas are the principles that flow in the unmanifested world. The Garudas are the angels, if you want. The Garudas are androgynous. So there's no masculine and feminine. Well, I'm certain someone in a tradition created a Garuda Raja and a Garuda Devi. I'm pretty sure someone did that. It's okay. The Kabbalists study a principle called the Hayot HaKodesh, and they come in 4 flavors, the 4 elements. In other words, the Garudas, the archetypes of the universe that are not manifested, also have to do with earth, water, air, and fire. They are the archetypes. So, for this session, instead of paying attention to the body and the manifest, we're going to pay attention to the soul, the self, and the universal principles. So you start about yourself, your soul, and then you expand into the universe if you want. Okay? Whatever it means for you, think about your spiritual self. try to stay incarnate while you do it. But the main focus is the soul. When we teach the elements, not the basic elements, but the primordial elements, we teach the elements in their function in the universe. Physically, the earth is the densest. But spiritually, the earth is the most subtle. The earth is at the origin of things. It is before manifestation. If you think about the planet Earth produces, gives life. Things grow on Earth. So in the manifest world, Earth is the densest element. In the spiritual world, Earth is the most subtle element. Because it is the origin. It produces. It gives life. So it is before manifestation in the spiritual realms. Okay. This is just a little parenthesis on Earth. We won't dwell too much on all the details about the elements in this class. Garudas is angels, but it's not beings with wings. It's archetype forces. They don't really have a form. We're actually not invoking angels, the Malakim. We are invoking the Hayot HaKodesh of Kabbalah. Okay. These are the Garudas for the Hindu path. Analyzing the word Garuda, Ga is it goes. Ru is a strong feeling. Okay? And Da is a form. Garuda is what moves feeling through form. So it is unmanifest because it is the flow of feelings through the manifest world. Okay? In the Hindu mythology, Garuda Raja, which is the Lord Garuda, or Sri Garuda, that's some name. He is a huge eagle, a huge bird, and it is used by Vishnu to come down to the world to visit it. So the Garudas is the archetypes that allows God to infuse the manifest world. Okay. Or Vishnu uses Garuda to visit the earth. The mythological story. So we're going to contemplate Garuda as a siddhi, a mantra. Just to tune in with the universal principle of Garuda. Garuda. The spiritual mechanics through which the divine flows down into the manifest world. Garuda. Similar to the Kabbalistic Hayot HaKodesh, there are 4 types, each representing an element. There are the 4 types of Garudas. There is the Sri Garuda, which is complete with all elements. And there are individual Garudas. So now we'll contemplate Garuda Prithvi, which is the archetypes of generation, of the origin. You are used to say Prithvi as the earth, the dense element. In this case, Prithvi is steadfast, perseverance. I have to think a word the translators can say. Continuity, persistence. So here Prithvi is what generates other things. It's the Garuda of the origin. Garuda Prithvi. So the earth angelic force. It sounds complicated, so make it simple in your contemplation. The spiritual archetypes of earth, and forget the details. Just the spiritual archetype of earth. Garuda Prithvi. How the earth energies come into the world. With the word Garuda, there's a flow in form. There's a consciousness that comes to the world. So it feels like communion, if you want, also. Garuda Prithvi. Garuda Prithvi. How the primordial energy of earth comes to the manifest world. There's a flow down into the planes. Okay. We will respect the order of the elements as per their density. In this case, simply to be compatible with the practice of the Nagas of Monday. So the next element in density in the manifest world is water. So we'll contemplate now Garudapsa. How the spiritual water, cohesion, the flow, convection, how it comes into the manifest world. Garudapsa. The spiritual energy of water that comes down through the plains and flows through the manifest world. This will bring karma into the world also, because it's whatever force convect. Okay. So we could amplify your karma. It does not give more karma than you have, no. It just brings it to the physical realm faster. It's a consequence. It's worth paying for. Garudapsa. The primordial archetypes of water flows through the plains into the manifest world. Garudapsa. Garudapsa. we move on to the air principles, Garuda Vayu. Air is movement, stability, possibly turbulence. It is knowledge, communication, the flow of information. This is the air element in the spiritual form. Garuda Vayu. The archetypes of air flowing through the planes reach the manifest world. Garuda Vayu. Garuda Vayu. Garuda Vayu. Good. We're going a bit faster than the Nagas, huh? It's okay. Just to initiate you into the practice. Spiritual fire is radiance, light, heat, transformation. Spiritual fire, Agni, it is not destruction. At this level, there's nothing manifest yet, so there's nothing to destroy. Everything simply changes. Garuda, Agni, we say Garudagni, where just stretch middle A. Garudagni. The principles of radiance and transformation flowing through the planes and invests the manifest world. Garudagni. The principles of transformation flows into the manifest world. Garudagni. Garudagni. This high frequency fire, high consciousness, transformation and radiance. Garudagni. Take a deep breath and relax. The Supreme Garuda of all elements, Sri Garuda, it can be written S-H-R-I, Sri, or the Sanskrit S with an accent. R-I. Shri Garuda. It is not the Garuda of the fifth element. No, it's the Garuda of all the four together. Like with the Nagas, we take 4 elements and not 5 with the Garudas. This is reflected in Kabbalah with having only 4 Hayot HaKodesh. So it's a compatible system, it's the same. So Sri Garuda is the supreme principles of all elements together, flowing into the planes, through the planes, and into this manifest world. Sri Garuda. And this is the Mount of Vishnu descending on earth to visit us, according to legends. Sri Garuda. It is Sri Garuda is for the Garudas. What the Nagas have Nagaraj or Nagadevi, the dragon, and the mother snake. Let's do them all again, one after the other, just a few seconds each. Universal Earth coming into the manifest world. Garuda Prithvi. The universal archetype of Earth flowing through the planes and descending into the manifest world. Garuda Prithvi. Now with water. Garudapsa. Universal principles of water flowing through the planes, one after the other, and invest the physical realm of manifestation. Garudapsa. Moving on to Garudavayu, the universal principles of air flowing through the planes and flowing through the physical realm. Garudavayu. When the Garudas reach a physical realm, they are still spirit. They don't manifest. They flow through manifestation. Garudavayu. Universal radiance and transformation. Garudagni. 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 All these elements now flowing through the physical world, physical vital world, still in spirit, but in the manifest world. We invoke Sri Garuda that allows Vishnu to visit the manifest world. Sri Garuda. Sri Garuda. Those who have studied Vishnu and the elements know that Vishnu is the object of the elements in their supreme form. Sri Garuda. All that is Vishnu can flow through the planes and invest the physical realm. Sri Garuda. And a deep breath. All right. Good. A good friend was telling me last year After all you've built, why are you still creating new systems? To that I answered, and I say now, I'm not creating new systems. This is stuff I've always been teaching. And it's nice to play with possibilities. As long as you're not a hippie new ager, I just created a new technique. No, we're just taking the stuff we already know and combine, experiment. It's fun. Just don't overdo it. Yeah? All right. Good. So, in mythology, we see the image of a snake and an eagle fighting. And the snake wraps around the leg of the eagle. And it tries to bite it. And the eagle, with its beak, tries to kill the snake. We find this in Occidental occultism, but we also find it in the Hindu mythology and the Buddhist mythology, actually. It is a symbol of the conflict we have between our natural instinct and our spiritual values. It is an illusion, but it's very rich when we feel in conflict between the natural world and the spiritual world. An example is your spiritual judgments that makes you believe there's rules about sexuality, that you should not feel desire for someone else than your partner. And then your body constantly yearns for the next beautiful person. That's just one example. Another example is how much you know in your mind that you'll feel better eating healthy food. And your body craves for eating scrap. Okay? Unhealthy food. That's just another example. So there's many conflicts between the manifest world and the spiritual archetype. These conflicts mostly come because of judgments and illusion and misunderstandings. Okay. The sages of old, in the time of Sakyamuni, they wrote poetry about it, how Sakyamuni Buddha is the one human being who met with the leaders of the Nagas and the leaders of the Garudas and made peace between the two clans. This is, of course, mythology, even in Buddhism, because there's no clan at war between the Nagas and the Garudas. It's a metaphor that a Buddha with his consciousness, his clarity, is freed from the judgments and does not see a conflict between the natural forces and the spiritual forces. In this way, Sakyamuni Buddha made peace between the Nagas and the Garudas. Making peace between this healthy diet and your animal cravings. Making peace between your judgments about what you feel is good for your heart, a nice, stable relationship, and how your body needs to reproduce by being attracted to anything it could copulate. finding peace in these traction, these forces. Okay. So this is what we're going to practice now in a very mystical way. It doesn't seem to be about personal growth, because we invoke the elements. So there's metaphysics involved. Okay. So we're going to do 11 mantras now. Okay. I will guide you step by step. We'll do the nagas of the 5 elements. Well, 4 elements, sorry. Reflex. And a 5th naga, which is Naga Raja Nagadev. Okay, it's just one mantra. It's the 5th component of the 4 previous nagas. But we want it to be just one step in this practice. So we can do then 5 steps with the Garudas, the 4 elements, and Sri Garuda, which is androgynous. Before the manifest world, there's no distinction between masculine and feminine. It's just principles. And then we'll have the 11th mantra that I will say when we get there. Okay? So we're ready to do a 11-minute contemplation together. Nagaprithvi, the manifested earth and its principles. Nagaprithvi. Feel the mass, the densities. Nagaprithvi. If you have not seen last class, you can go watch that afterwards. It's just a nagas. And we move to Nagapsa, the nagas of water. We go by order of density in that practice, not order of archetype. Nagapsa, the manifest flow of water, and the mechanics of cohesion in physical mass. Nagapsa. We move to Nagavayu, principles of air in the manifest world. Nagavayu. Movement, convection, sound if you want. Nagavayu. Fire, Nagagni, the manifested heat, radiance, transformation or destruction. Because now there are objects that can be destroyed by fire. Nagagni, combustion in the physical realm, the energy built in your cells. Nagagni. And the 5th step, Nagaraj Nagadev. You could say Nagadevi if you want. Sanskrit usually soften the last vowel. Nagaraj Nagadev. The dragon, the mother snake, all elements together. Nagaraj Nagadev. And you are incarnate. As you open up to the higher realms, all the heavenly planes up to the origin of vacuity. and you invoke the higher principles to come down. Garuda Prithvi, invoking the origin as it will emanate downwards until it reaches the physical plane. Garuda Prithvi. And you make yourself available to the higher forces that come gushing into nature. Garuda Prithvi. Garuda Prithvi. Garudapsa, water, cohesion, mechanics, fluid, coming through the planes. Garudapsa. 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 Air, Garuda Vayu. Information, knowledge, communication, flowing through the planes, investing the manifest world. Garuda Vayu. Garuda Vayu. Garudagni of fire and transformation, the heavenly radiance. Garuda Vayu. Garudagni. I felt like transcending a moment. Garudagni. Garudagni, the fire coming down from heaven to transform us as a soul, a human, and an animal being, and throughout the world, bringing its transformation power. Garudagni. All the supreme forces allowing Vishnu to come and experience this world. Sri Garuda. In a non-distinct world, Vishnu is already the manifest world. But in a distinct world, where we believe God is separated from its creation, Sri Garuda brings back the reality of oneness. Vishnu is already in this world. With this practice, we can feel God through the manifest world. Sri Garuda. Sri Garuda. Where all the spiritual archetypes successfully reach the manifest planes, the physical and vital world. Now for the 11th step, natural forces and spiritual forces flow in harmony. And the mantra is Nagaruda, where Naga and Garuda is one unified principle of forces to all planes, all elements together, flowing separately but together. Nagaruda. And the Nagas and the Garudas are celebrating And the dragon and the great eagle are drinking from the same cups, from the same lake, flying in the same wind, living in the same cave, and breathing the same fire. Garuda. Visualize Nagaraja and Sri Garuda fusing as a supreme being, Garuda. The feathered heavenly dragon. The feathered heavenly dragon. Like the body of a dragon, but feathers like a bird. Of all colors. And if you zoom in with the camera at full focus, Garuda is built with millions of intertwined Nagas and Garudas just flowing, taking shape and dissolving. And all the natural forces and the spiritual forces combine in your body and in the nature around you. Garudas. And God inhabits its creation. And Vishnu remembers he is the manifested world. And all is one throughout the planes. Every element experiences communion. The manifest earth, the metaphysical archetypes of earth, communion. The tangible and the intangible waters in communion. The physical and the mystical winds in communion. The chemical and the supernatural fires in communion. Garuda. The elemental communion of the manifest and the spiritual. Garuda.